the mother of all retail stocks, Tesla. Christina was referencing that's down 7% today. Now you have the political party from Musk, and you have this feud again picking up with President Trump. Highly entertaining to some, no doubt. Highly concerning to some Tesla shareholders. That has to be clear at this point. Speaking of, Bryn Talkington joins us now. She is a Tesla shareholder, longtime supporter of the stock and of Elon Musk. And just when you thought you were out, they pull you back in. So what are you thinking now, Bryn?
No, it's like I'm actually surprised that people are surprised about this, because whether it's buying Twitter, going all in on President Trump's election, going scorched earth on President Trump, there's a great adage, Scott, that when people show you who they are, believe them. And Elon's going to continue to do what he wants to do. Now, as it relates to this new party, the American Party, from what I understand, he's going to be supporting, various, representatives, congressmen, et cetera, that have his views around fiscal conservatism, et cetera. So at this point, I don't think he's going to be spending that much money, being that we just passed this massive bill. So I think today is a little bit of an overreaction, but I do think there's fatigue setting in, though. But I think when you have someone that runs 6 companies, very successful, has a great team underneath it, I just think I think today is a little bit of an overreaction, but I do agree it does get a bit frustrating.
William Blair tries to put some numbers around the whole thing, obviously looking at the passage of the bill and what it's going to mean, because of the EV credit, which is, in many respects, the match that lit this whole thing. While the $7,500 tax credit is likely to affect demand, the combination of a demand headwind and over $2 billion in profits from regulatory credits at risk may be too much for investors to bear. What about that investor, Bryn? These are real numbers behind what is ailing the stock activity today, at least in part.
Well, I think on the tax credit, obviously the tax credit of I think it was $2.4 billion last year that they get from the carbon credits. But in terms of the consumer credit of $7,500, what I'm thinking of, and I haven't done the math yet, but I think it may net out because these cars are made in America. Interest for earners at $100,000 and then join at $200,000. If you make a car in America, you're going to get to deduct that interest. So I do think that's going to be somewhat of an offset. And I think with high rates, for people that want to own a Tesla, you're losing the $7,500, but you're going to get that deductibility of interest. So we'll see how that fleshes out. But as I've said many times, Scott, the current fundamentals of the current business are deteriorating. And so I think you want to own this name, and I really try to look at it pragmatically. You want to own this name and sell calls against it. So, towards the end of the close, I'm going to be adding to the position, but I'm going to sell the September 320 calls, which is only about 8 weeks out, 9 weeks out, and I'm going to collect $20. So if it gets called away, I make 16%. If it doesn't, I've earned 7%, or I've reduced my cost basis on this new position by $20. And so I still think this 250, 260 to 350 is where we're going to trade. And so I think if I'm going to enter in a new position, I definitely want to sell calls on it right now since we're not down at that 250, 260 yet.
All right. Interesting to get your perspective and certainly hear about this new trade. Bryn, thank you. Bryn Talkington joining us on Tesla.